Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert, that's me. This video contains things that I tinker with throughout the day. For step-by-step detailed instructions of those tasks, you can click on the links in the comment section below. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. This video also has tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. So, thank you very much for watching. Kicking off the Tinker Day, putting some pop rivets in the phone. We got some rubber feet. I didn't notice about the pop rivets, but they have codes on the box. You see this yellow? That corresponds with the stripe on your pop rivet thing. So I need to use that yellow rivets guide to pop those in. So let me go ahead and do that. Task from Michael. All 3 rivets are in. I'm sorry, all 4. So this thing should be good to go. I'm gonna wrap it up and pack it up. Good to go. And Michael is selling these on eBay. Hey party people. In this video, I'm going to be replacing the rear sway bar in this 2004 XC70. I'm going to be installing the iPd anti-sway bar in the back. We already did it on the front. A lot of people don't realize this, but these anti-sway bars not only bring your car up to today's standard, but they dramatically improve the safety and handling of your vehicle. Out of all the things I've done to Panther, these anti-sway bars were the number 2 favorite thing that I've done. So if you can afford it, get them installed and enjoy the safety and handling that will be improved on this vehicle. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the sway bars and install these. Let's get started. In this video, I will be using the iPd instructions. It's nice if you have a lift. We don't, so we jack the car up, put it on jack stands on all 4, remove the wheels. Next, we remove the cargo floor panel back here. You have to sometimes get this one out of the way. Then you take the one in front of it. Sometimes it'll have a couple of bolts in a clip. Remove the bolts, pull the floor, remove the floor out of the way. Then it has a sheet of fabric covering all this attractive stuff back here. You pull that out of the way. Then on this car, it had these little cushiony pads here that was covering all this stuff here. Go ahead and just pull those back, set them aside. Next, you want to remove this bolt right here with that funny shape washer on it. That is a 12mm. My Milwaukee M12 tool is acting a little weak, even though it has 3 bars, and it does it with 4. When it gets about that position, it has a hesitation. Let me show you when I pull a bolt out how that hesitation acts. Usually I break bolts loose with my regular ratchet before I put my tool on there, just to relieve some of the stress. But this one was actually somewhat tightened with this tool, and I break it loose, and now you may be able to see the hesitation when I'm turning the screw out. Didn't do it that bad this time. I'll see if it does it worse on another bolt. Next, we're going to take the parking cables loose right there from the subframe. Got a 12mm bolt on that side of the exhaust and a 12mm bolt right there on that side. Remove both of those bolts so the cables could be free from the subframe. I'm also noticing some ratcheting slack in my wrench. When I go to ratchet, I may turn it 90 degrees before it catches. See how far it turned there? Sometimes it turns kind of far before it'll catch and ratchet on the bolt. seems to be doing better right now. My M12 ratchet was giving me a little problems, so last night I picked up the brushless fuel 3/8 ratchet. It's an M12 as well, a little bigger than the other one, and this is how it sounds. It's supposed to have the power and strength of the pneumatic one. That's the size difference between the two. Woo woo, let's get to work. I got the bolts out of the brake cables, and then you unclip them from the trailing arm thing here, so they'll hang down free. You don't have to totally remove that cable. I did. Just take the bolt loose, unclip it from this trailing arm brace, and I'm also going to be replacing that trailing arm brace. I think that adjusted the camber. Next, we're going to lower the rear exhaust. This exhaust is supposed to have a strap under it. You take one side loose and you remove the other side totally out, and that will allow the exhaust to begin to hang. And then you want to unhook this mount here, this mount here, and this mount here by the tailpipe, so that the exhaust will hang down, allowing you room whenever you need to get this sway bar. You don't have to unhook it from the converter. You do want it to hang down. So I'm gonna go up there and take one side out of that strap, loosen the other side, and move that supporting strap out of the way of the exhaust, right behind the cat. If you can't undo the hanger bushings, I normally take the bolt out of them that holds the bracket up there. This one's a little rusty, that may be risky, but that is an option if you can't get these loose. I don't have a lot of success getting those loose. This one over here has two, look like 15mm bolts holding that bracket up. And this looks like it's got one 10 or 12mm bolt holding this bracket on here. I didn't check the other side yet. And this support is what I'm taking loose here, right behind the cat. Take that bolt out, take that bolt loose, spin this support over and out of the way. And that's the support moved out of the way. Let's go get that far aft bracket. I actually pushed that hanger off. I lubed it with some PB Blaster, and then I used my needle nose pliers. I spread it open in between this bracket and the bushing, and it pushed it off. So the exhaust is sitting on a block right now, hanging down. The next step in the instructions say remove a plastic lower control arm cover. I don't see that on this vehicle, so I'm going to assume somebody already removed it. It's supposed to have two 10mm bolts on there. I don't see it. That's the lower control arm. Next, I believe the instructions say to remove this bolt right here from the bottom of the shock. Next, we're going to push this shock off of that stud in that control arm. If you have stock springs and stuff, you may have to get somebody to get on the hub and stand on it to extend this suspension system down so that you can get this off of here. I have lowering springs on here, so I probably don't have any tension on that, causing that to stay on there. So I'm going to get a pry bar, pry a little bit, see if I can get that to just walk off of there. And if not, I'll get some help here. Yeah, see, mine just came right off real easy with very little, and it actually bounced up a little bit. So now my shock is loose from the lower control arm. Next, you got to remove this sway bar from the sway bar end link and from the mount up on the back side of the control arm. This one was professionally removed, as you can see by that sharp edge right there, but the bolt is on the back side right up there for your anti-sway bar. Remove that from both sides, left and right. Next, you need to remove the bolts securing the top of the spring shock mount assembly. You got a bolt right there and you got a bolt back there. These are slotted, so you want to mark them so that you can put them back where you removed them, because that'll mess up alignment or something. So mark that stuff the way it is, brush it off with a wire brush or something, put some marks on there so you can get that stuff realigned the way it is when you put it back on, not to mess up your alignment too bad. I'm going to use a Sharpie to mark all mine. Those are 14mm bolts. Then I'm going to remove those bolts, one front, one back. Remember, I already removed one on the inside. I got those 2 screws loose and the mount's not coming down. Let me see if I have to pry it down a little bit. Poked it with the screwdriver and got it to pop down. iPd says pull it forward. Forward means toward the front of the car. That'll get it out of the way from what you need to do. Since I got those 2 screws loose, I went on ahead and tilted that forward like iPd suggested. It's forward, out of the way of the anti-sway bars. By looking at the instructions, you only have to take the shock loose on the driver's side. So we come down, we mark the location, remove that mount, lower that shock, maneuver the current sway bar out, getting the passenger side one loose over the control arm first, then maneuvering it out the driver's side past that loose shock. Go to install it. Apparently people have tried to install this thing upside down, or should I say backwards. I believe this is the correct way to install it. If the bar is secure under the car, the arms of it swing out and hook up to your anti-sway bar end links, like so. If you put the bar in upside down, the bar will be secure and you won't be able to get your sway bar end links on. So I would suggest you lay the bar down and mark this one left, or just remember this is driver's side and that's US passenger side. The bar, I believe, goes in this way. I'm gonna put it in and see. With this shock loose over here, the bar fitted easily. I hooked the passenger side over the control arm, maneuvered the driver's side over the control arm. I'm gonna attach these little end links loosely, then I'm gonna put the brackets up in there, lubricating the bar side of the bushings, and hook those up and keep moving forward. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.